So I like to start out with, does the thought of using Facebook the rest of your life make you a little uncomfortable? I'm guessing most of the people here that is a true statement. But aside from that, there's a lot of services that come and go. There's these services that pop up and shut down, and we lose data that we created on them. But even before services shut down, there's a lot of times you end up with these platforms locking themselves down and preventing open access that either they used to have or just never giving it in the first place. Twitter has been going through a bunch of changes recently where they're like restricting access to their API or making it more difficult to interact with the platform. Instagram has essentially completely locked out all third-party apps now, and you can't really do anything anymore unless you make a special business deal with them or are like one of their ad partners or something like that. But the good news is there are a few ways to avoid these centralized platforms by using more friendly and distributed solutions. There's several different ways to become independent from these silos. There's sort of out-of-the-box, ready-to-go platforms. Mastodon, Diaspora do a good job of making it pretty easy to install these things on a server and run it, or just like join one that you can find. Micro.blog, who is also here giving a talk later, they are doing a fantastic job of building a social platform with a revenue model built in, so they probably will actually outlast a lot of the other free services that are, because they actually have a revenue model, as opposed to like app.net, which tried and completely, they shut down recently. You can also go the more DIY route of installing WordPress, installing Known, getting a shared hosting platform from a company, installing software. You can use a static site generator, which it's even easier to host, but maybe a little more involved in the tooling to get it running. If you want to completely control your online presence, you can do what myself and several others have done, which is build something from scratch. And obviously that's not for everybody, but it's pretty fun, and you get complete control over things that way. So like this is my website, and this is some check-ins that I now put on my website. The nice thing about all of these is that it doesn't matter which ones everybody is using individually, we can all still communicate with each other using our own websites. These are some of the replies I've made to other posts, and if you'll notice the URLs of the things I'm replying to, they're all different websites. One is a micro.blog post, one is on someone's personal website, one's actually from Twitter. And the way, and this is an example of a comment that I made on my website, and it's showing up as a comment on the original post. So you can see that even though we're running two different pieces of software, we can still work together. This is my post shared out to Twitter and Facebook because I don't want to completely isolate myself on my website. I still want to communicate with my friends who are on Twitter and Facebook. So this is an example of I made a post on my website and I pushed a copy to Facebook and I pushed a copy to Twitter, and now people can reply on both of those, and the replies get brought back onto my website so I can see the whole conversation here. The way that this works, where we can all talk to each other and use each other's platforms, is we build off of these small building blocks. There's several specs that are meant to be small incremental improvements to solve a particular problem. So you'll hear a lot of these being referred to over the next 2 days probably, but these are the ways that our completely different software running different languages, different frameworks, different methodologies, we can still talk to each other online. There's a few principles that we like to highlight going forward. Build for yourself, as in build something that you want to use yourself, because if you're not going to use it, then why would anybody else want to use it? UX and design are more important than protocols. The protocols are obviously important, but they should follow from the user experience and the design of the software we're trying to make. Modularity, so the idea of building blocks where you can swap out components and in a reusable way, where we're not trying to build giant monolithic stacks, that we're not trying to build a new Facebook where we replicate all of the same problems that Facebook has. We're trying to build modular pieces that can plug together. And also, that brings me to plurality of projects. There is no one correct solution. the better long-term plan is to have many different solutions, experimenting, trying things out, working together. And there are a few more principles on the wiki page and some more details on these if you're interested in reading further. So that's all I have for the intro of what is the IndieWeb. So yeah, thanks for listening, and I will now introduce Tontek to give us a little update on the state of the IndieWeb.